Okay, hi everybody. Today I'm going to talk about Lindsay Mitchell, who's a great researcher, and an article that he has written, which is very, very good about uh, Otamariki. That's the sort of children's ministry dealing with children who are going into um, welfare homes and so on and so on and so on. Okay, so the welfare state is unsustainable economically, socially, and morally. That's the headline from Lindsay. What does he mean by all that? So one of the reasons Oranga Tamariki exists is to prevent child neglect, but could the organisation itself be guilty of the same? So he's going to go into how, once again, that the articles written by government and statistics put out are dishonest and also deceptive. So let's read on. Oranga Tamariki's statistics show a decrease in the number of children in care, in the number and age of children in care. This is the official report. There are less children in care now than in as at 30th of June 2019, when there were 6,450 children and young people in care and protection custody, and 140 in youth justice custody, a total of 6,590 children in care. That's 2019. As at the 30th of June 2023, there were 4,317 children and young people in care and protection custody, and 162 youth justice custody, a total of 4,479 children in care. So it's gone down from, according to official reports and statistics, from 6,450 down to 4,479. That's a big drop of almost a third. Of particular interest, though, recent changes in practice have seen a decline of the number of children being brought into care, particularly in the under 5 years age range. On the face of it, says Lindsay, this sounds positive, but not one to take anything at face value. I wanted to know what it actually means. Very good. This is why he's a good researcher. Oranga Tamariki and the New Zealand Police both perform the statutory roles of child protection. It is now possible to interrogate police victimisation data and look specifically at children aged 0 to 4 who were victims of crime. In the following graphic, the year June 2018 to June 2019, as per the Oranga Tamariki data above, is selected. So you can't actually read this very well, but because it's blurry in the article. But if you go down, it says left click to image to enlarge. There were 891 acts intended to cause injury perpetrated against 0 to 4-year-olds. The ethnic information is linked and inconclusive, given that 45.5% had ethnicity not stated. Well, that is extremely interesting, that on the official data that ethnicity is not stated. Why will that be? Because they don't want you to know this is happening in Maori homes. Next, I move the time period forward to the year 2022 to June 2023, and he goes through the same graphs. There were 1,296 acts of intended to cause injury perpetrated against the same age group. That an increase of 45% with no equivalent rise in the size of the demographic. The group with the no stated ethnicity has climbed further to 69%, though where ethnicity is recorded, the usual disproportionality remains. So over the 4-year period in question, there were fewer under 5-year-olds taken into care, which can actually mean they come under the care of the state but remain with the caregiver, and more acts against them intended to cause injury. Which then begs the question, were injuries or worse sustained? Here I'm unable to isolate just the 0 to 4-year-old age group, but for under 15-year-olds, serious assaults resulted in injury rose from 1,820 to 2,438 over the exact same period. In other words, a 34% increase. But back to the preschoolers, almost 1,300 acts intended to cause injury equates to more than 3 every day against the very young and defenseless. Otamariki data implies the situation is improving, whereas the police data implies the situation is deteriorating. In other words, Otamariki data and official reporting is deceitful, it's full of lies, and it's designed to put the public off the scent about what's actually really happening. They can't both be right, says Lindsay. Is the rate of intentional injury increasing for the very reason that Otamariki, Orangatamariki is taking fewer children into state care? If the answer is yes, then the whole drive to leave mainly married children with their families for cultural reason is flawed. But how do we know it is the married children being hurt, given police growing propensity to omit victim ethnicity? See, the police are not giving the ethnicity of people who commit crime. Why? Because they don't want negative press about Maori. Data from Health New Zealand confirms ethnic disproportionality. In other words, Maori are only 16% of the population, but they're hugely overrepresented with hospitalisation for their children. It is overwhelmingly married children who are hospitalised due to domestic violence. There you go. That's what you get from the statistics. Well done, Lindsay, for bringing this out. Say that again. It is overwhelmingly Maori children who are hospitalised due to domestic violence. A recent op-ed published in the Post and elsewhere, written by regular columnist and past Greens Maori Party staffer, criticised Karen Chhour's move to repeal Section 7AA of the Orangatamariki Act. It claims there is no empirical evidence to support this decision. Lindsay says, I beg to differ based on Police and Health New Zealand data. In other words, Lindsay's telling the truth, and this post and the Post is lying. The past Greens Maori Party staffer, whoever wrote that. Then he states, by Maori, for Maori services such as Whanaora have had extraordinary success working alongside Orangatamariki to place children in safe, secure, and culturally appropriate care. If the last statement is correct, then we can only assume matters could even be worse than they are, that Maori children could be even more disproportionately victims of violence than is currently the case. To accept that scenario, a positive trend would need to be evident, which is what we get from Orangatamariki, but not the police. I don't mind being wrong, but it feels like the safety of Maori children is being neglected, perhaps even sacrificed to prove a political point, that culture matters more than care. Well, Lindsay, congratulations on a great article, because the takeaway point from this is that Orangatamariki is lying about in its reporting and its statistical data, and when you compare their data with the police and with the health ministry, they're completely at odds with each other, which tells you that we've got a really big problem here. It is overwhelmingly, he says, this is Lindsay saying this, it is overwhelmingly Maori children who are being hospitalised due to domestic violence. This is why Karen Chhour, the ACT Party lady, is saying we need to change Section 7AA of the Orangatamariki Act so that children, Maori children or any children, can be put in the best homes, not making it compulsory for Maori children to be put in Maori homes, because if that happens, they're going to be put right in the lion's den, these little children, these little Maori children, going into Maori homes, which are places of great danger.